YouTube, my name is Legend Yes, and welcome back to Can They Be DLC? In this episode we're going to be talking about Ryu Hayabusa from the Ninja Gaiden series. But before we get to it, let's talk about the news of the week, which again, there aren't any. It didn't even get release dates, I think, for anything. The Hero is still not out, but we do know these coming out in July because of the Nintendo video that then changed the title to Summer. Yeah, it's coming in summer. Sure, Nintendo. You didn't at all screw up again with your advertisement. But July only has like 2 weeks to go. We have the next 2 weeks, well, a week and a half to come out. So I would guess it's come out on the 31st, mostly because I honestly don't see them releasing on the 25th or the 24th. Mostly because, no, the 24th they could, but not on the 25th. There's no way in hell they're going to do it the day before Fire Emblem. Conflict of interest. So I would guess the 31st. It makes most sense. And it doesn't make it to EVO, but it's close enough to EVO, I guess. Or they said July. So that's the only thing we know. So I would guess we're going to be getting it sooner or later. I would guess, again, either the 24th or the 31st. There's no way in how they put it a day before Fire Emblem. It seems way too muddled. But outside of that, there's nothing really much to talk about, except for today is also the day this is going to go up, and going to go up, and the day of this being recorded. Actually, it's the final day of the Splatfest. Also, today marks the 2nd anniversary of Splatoon 2, so happy anniversary Splatoon 2. So anyway, let's go on to the video. And obviously, as I said at the beginning, this is about Ryu, or why I keep saying it, Ryu Hayabusa. And can he be DLC for Smash Ultimate? Well, I would actually say, yeah, it actually is a character that makes a whole lot of sense. Ninja Gaiden was a franchise that solidified what it meant to be Nintendo hard. It's still an insane franchise. It was an insane franchise back in the day. It still had success or moderate success in the modern day and age. It feels like the only big NES franchise not to have any type of representation in Smash. Tecmo Koei also feels like it's the only third-party Japanese company without any type of Smash representation, or without Smash representation, or without being in Smash. I don't think they even have spirits. Do we have any Hyrule Warriors spirits? I don't think we do. We could have, and I might be misremembering, but I don't think we do. And Ryu has a very long history with Nintendo, so it would be a character that makes perfect sense. I guess that's all about it. But anyway, if he makes it in, the only thing that is kind of unclear would be what kind of costumes he would bring, or what his main design would be. And I guess it would be the classic one would be his main design, like Simon, and then his more recent design as the newest design as the costumes. But also, although I have said that I think he could be DLC, he's very one of the most likely characters to be DLC. He's also one of the most, in a way, unlikely characters to be DLC. Mostly because, well, he's kind of an unknown character to a lot of people. Yeah, sure, he has been in Dead or Alive and Ninja Gaiden, but when you say Ryu Hayabusa, a lot of people are not going to know who he is. And although Ninja Gaiden is very popular, I don't feel like he particularly is. So it's a weird one, I guess. But it's also one of the weirdest things, because I don't like the fact that not the fact of the matter, like the fact that he is one of the most long history Nintendo franchises, Nintendo quote unquote, of characters within Nintendo history. It also feels like a character for third parties, he feels like a character that would be more appropriate as a base roster third party, you know? It's one of those characters like the Belmonts where people get hyped, people know who they are, and then they're like, oh yeah, that's awesome. But I don't think you would get the reaction, the same type of reaction for DLC. Because for DLC, it's different because with the full roster, you have this huge amount of characters. So characters already are bonuses. For DLC, we have such a small group of characters that are going to be in the game that feels like what is it? It feels fudge. it feels like a waste, but it's not really a waste. But a lot of people complain it's a waste, you know. Some people even consider all the characters we have as of right now, some people consider them waste because they wanted something else. But, you know, I don't like that methodology of thinking, but I feel like Ryu, although possible and very likely, and also, here's the thing, you also have the Google theory going for it, and I know Google theory is still just that, a theory, it's not proven, but I feel like it still could be possible and still has the likelihood to be possible. Yeah, Herdrick is in the game, or the hero is in the game, and the Google theory not predicted or was not a part of the Google theory, but Google theory, nobody was actually searching for just the word hero Smash Brothers DLC, and yes, he had Artorias as it, but Artorias could have always been the false positive because, you know, DLC stuff. It was already DLC, but you never know. We haven't heard anything from Tecmo Koei or Sakurai with regards to this, so you never ever know. It's likely, but I would also bet that if he's not a part of the final two characters DLC, he could very likely be one of the first third-party characters we get announced for the next Smash Bros. So with that out of the way, again, possibility, yes, high possibility. One of the few Nintendo characters or third-party characters with a long history with Nintendo, not in Smash. Tecmo Koei, one of the big Japanese third parties with not a representation in Smash. Could happen, but we have to wait and see. If not in this Fighters Pack, maybe as a base roster character for the next game. So let's go on to the comments, and this week we actually have a bunch of comments. So I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna go over the Gino comments and the Sans comments from Beast Rob. He posted a lot, two more comments on the Everyone is Here or Revisited Again, the beginning of Season 2. One regarding to Sora and one regarding all the characters. So I am going to not go over those because like some of these things like he agrees or disagrees, like it's been like a month over a month since I said it, so I don't remember exactly. Then he had a huge thing about Sora, which would require me to do a lot of research. And although I'm not opposed to doing research, it's just some of these things is not even findable. I try to find one thing that he says in like one of these comments, and I couldn't find it even in the Wikipedia for Final Fantasy. So I don't even know where to find some of these things. So yeah, I don't know how to respond to them without actually having some base facts to go with it. So yeah, so first let's respond to the two comments on the Geno DLC episode that he posted. The first one was at 3 minutes and 7 seconds. It's not difficult to negotiate with Square Enix. Sakurai said that they were very helpful in Smash 4 and Ultimate. It's just Final Fantasy VII's music and artwork. This is the thing. It's legally owned by a ton of companies. It's just a rumor that spread like wildfire. Cloud's even one of her earliest characters in the files of Ultimate. Also, the Dragon Quest composer is apparently one of the stingiest person on the planet. Okay, so this is what I was looking at, and I couldn't find, even the Wikipedia page, I couldn't find who owned the rights to music or the sound or the artwork, but that's just something that I'm gonna say. That still wouldn't, if it's a bunch of people and Square doesn't have the rights to it, it still doesn't matter. Square, or if you look at it, during Smash 4, we had 5 tracks for Final Fantasy that were given by Square allegedly to Sakurai to use. We had the opening for Final Fantasy VII in the trailer, then we had the 2 songs that are in Smash, we have the victory theme, and then we had the Chocobos theme for the reveal. So for advertisement we had more songs than we had in the game, which feels weird. Also, I remember hearing that Cloud was one of the last characters to be a part of added to Smash Ultimate's data. Plus, it's weird. Like if it is so difficult, the artwork is owned by so many people in different companies. Why Square? That doesn't make sense to me. You know, because like again, we didn't have anything for Final Fantasy in World of Light at all. It could have been a fake section. We didn't. And even if it's owned by multiple people, again, in Super Smash Brothers, not going to touch on music, we have, what is it? 4? Is it 4 or 5 summons in Midgard? So if Square doesn't license them, even if they don't own the rights to those, why weren't there spirits? Why wasn't any one of these spirits? You know, it just feels weird. And from my mistaken, and please correct me if I'm wrong, Square Enix doesn't do crossovers without being DLC. And I don't recall Sakurai ever saying that Square were very helpful during 4 and Ultimate's development. Plus, good thing to remember, Sakurai already said that the hero had a lot of restrictions going into it, what he could do, which could be why we didn't have female versions of the heroes, and that is it 8, I think, was a specific request by the Western fans, and I do think Square didn't want that, and the Square doesn't like the heroes fighting each other. So yeah, not only that, the DLC was once again chosen by Nintendo, so even if the Luminary was the more popular one, Nintendo was the one that decided on having, or Nintendo and Square were the one that decided on having the Luminary as the thing. Then for Gino, the other company said, Gino has that copyright thing happening recently, but considering he's the one character Square Enix said no to for the past 3 games, he'd probably say no. I mean, why wouldn't they, since Mario RPG cost them so much money? Well, I would say this, why would they say no? I will revert the question back. I mean, you say why would they say yes? I ask why would they say no? It takes them no money, it requires no effort from their part. Sakurai could do all the work, Nintendo would pay them, and we would be happy. Why are they saying no? I mean, if you're gonna go with the cost them so much money, Final Fantasy VII Remake is costing them a lot of money. Final Fantasy 15 cost them a lot of money. A lot of stuff costs a lot of money. Now sure, they could say like we made the money back for Final Fantasy 15 in a day, but that still required them shipping 5 million copies of the game. If that didn't work, if the people, and also because they made it back in the days, also feel like a little, in a day feel like cheap, because it's the same thing as, oh, it's the fastest selling Final Fantasy game. If you look back at the years, it was the first and only Final Fantasy game to have a worldwide release, so of course it was going to be the fastest shipped ever. Japan lost a lot. Japan is weird because a lot of the traditional big Japanese franchises are losing ground in Japan. It could also be because some of these franchises are not on the most popular system and are in turn on Sony consoles. But still, it's a weird thing. So and also it also depends on negotiations. Like even if Sakurai wanted Gino during Smash 4 or during Ultimate, we don't know. You say it's a rumor. You said where was it? I know you posted on a comment. I forget where. It's a comment. That's something that's spread like wildfire. That they are not difficult to negotiate. And again, correct me if I'm wrong. I remember hearing they only do crossovers in DLC. And as far as I know, outside of Smash, they haven't done too many crossovers. We have Kingdom Hearts. I think that's about it. Could be wrong. Also, if I'm not mistaken, a lot of the Final Fantasy VII artwork was done by Nomura, right? Because Nomura was the one that also did the poster for Final Fantasy VII for the DLC, where we had Cloud versus Link, and then Advent Children Crown. Also, look back at the Cloud's costumes. We don't have too many costumes. We have 2 costumes with a bunch of colors that don't really recolor him. And it's the same thing as Sonic and Pac-Man, which is obviously third parties' decisions, not Sakurai. And you could say it's Sakurai, but like whenever Sakurai has the reins to do something, he goes all out. Like Mario now has a builder outfit and the wedding outfit. And like Cloud and Pac-Man and Sonic still have those random little costumes. Heck, even the hero was something that he really wanted to work on and had like 4 different costumes. So yeah. So anyway, moving to the Sans comments. First things first, we have the first one. It came from Terry Servinson saying Shantae 5 is supposed to be coming out sometime this year. There's our Shovel Knight spirits in Smash Ultimate. Thank you. I did not know if there was or not. I know he was an assist trophy. I didn't remember if he was an assist trophy or not assist trophy, a spirit or not. I agree with you that Sans won't get into Smash Ultimate as a playable character, maybe a spirit or a Mii costume, yeah, but not a playable character. In regards to Ryu Hayabusa, I could only see him getting as a Mii costume, and a spirit because he would most likely just be based off of Sheik with some moves from Greninja thrown in. There's also a YouTube channel, Brawl BRSTM S3X, had 2 Super Mario RPG tracks removed because of a copyright strike by Nintendo. These songs being aware of the Forest Mushroom. That was a song that I was thinking about when they licensed for Geno. And I think the other one was the enemy battle theme. Papa Geno did a video on it about it a few days ago, which could mean maybe Geno will become playable through DLC as an extra fighter. I heard about that, and it's weird that Nintendo would give such a would make such a blunder like that. But then again, they also uploaded the song for Final Fantasy for Castlevania before Ultimate before the Smash Direct, so it's definitely possible. But at the same time, I also feel like, yeah, it could have been, but it could also have been like an intern going over, like they told them, like, go through these YouTube channels that are just uploading our songs and delete things, and maybe he saw Super Mario on the time, like, oh, this is ours, and did the strike. I don't know, but it's very possible. And again, if we do have a second Fighter's Pass, that's the only way I can see them going ahead and giving us an extra character like Geno, would be like going to an extra Fighters Pack and be like, oh, we did one, so we're going to do another, and like before, we're giving you a free character, you know, to incentivize the purchase of not only the first one, but of the second one. And Geno could be it, and also Geno would be the perfect transition from a third-party only pack to a first-party only pack, because, hey, he's a third-party character from a Nintendo game, technically speaking. So it would make a lot of sense for him to be the freebie that would just need Square's approval. And then we move on to the Obese and yeah, with Ryu. I'm sorry, Ryu. Could he be? For this game, he could be. Honestly, now that I think about it, be a caution, and maybe next game he makes the transition to playable character. And maybe, yeah, Spirit Battle. I don't think he would have a lot of moves based on yeah for DLC. Depends on how much they would go with, because I could see him with a katana. So it would be interesting to see how he would work in Smash. Maybe he would have a normal, like, he could have like his normal beat would be like the bullets from Joker, or the blasters from the Star Fox crew. You just hold and it shoots, instead of like being the needles where it's charged, or the water shuriken from Greninja, which just grows bigger. It will be interesting to see him as a playable character, but yeah, Sans is the same thing. A playable Spirit or Mii would be cool. We integrate him perfectly, I would say, in the game. And hey, that's the thing with Spirits not coming in with or be a part of, like, we having our own Spirits DLC, because like they could bring in songs for certain things, and Megalovania would be perfect in Smash. Just remix would be even better. So anyway, I think I covered all of that, right? Unless I forget something. So we go back to Obese Robin. He had a bunch of comments, so I'm going to address the first one that I wanted to address, which is 25 minutes 16 seconds. A lot of people were excited about Chrom. He was pretty large request during Smash 4. I think I don't know if it was you did not understand what I meant, or if I misspoke, or if I did make myself clear, which is more likely me not making myself clear, because I do that a lot. Because like sometimes you want to say something, like in my brain I say something, I want to say something and I mean another, or I say something that has something, and I think I misspoke there, because I think I said nobody cared about Chrom. I think I misspoke, because I'm pretty sure, and I could be wrong, I said that nobody cared about Chrom in the context of people being enraged over another Fire Emblem or another sword wielder. Because we had that with the hero. When the hero was announced, people were like, oh, another sword wielder. And if you go watch a lot of reactions, there are a lot of people that during the time period of him being announced until Banjo-Kazooie, they were mad. And I think Chrom, what I meant to say, and I hope that's what I meant to say, and I didn't, and I hope should we work on it and then making myself more clear. I think I meant was people didn't care to complain. Chrom was requested and all that, but he wasn't an original character. It was an Echo with a different moveset. And people wanted to have them, but like the people that were against him and would complain about his inclusion, about another Fire Emblem, like Bliath, another Fire Emblem, or Elgar too, a Fire Emblem, another sword wielder, another Marth, was very toned down, and people didn't care because, again, we just had the Belmonts being revealed, we had Dark Samus being revealed, and later on, we got King K. Rool being revealed, and we already had Ridley, so people didn't particularly care about that. You know, that's what I meant. People didn't care to complain. People that liked him and wanted him were happy to have him included, but the people that didn't want him in, or didn't want another Fire Emblem character, or didn't want something, another Hero Sword Wielder, didn't care. That's what I meant, and I hope I cleared things up there, because I probably misspoke. Then another comment you said, Villager and Isabelle aren't fighters yet, they added them. To be fair, Sakurai was hesitant due to this. Here's the thing about these two. Sakurai was hesitant during Brawl. I don't remember hearing him a lot about Smash 4 about their inclusion. I believe he just said he was hesitant. But here's the thing. Sakurai didn't want to make them playable fighters because he didn't think there was in their nature, and that's fine. But Animal Crossing is one of the biggest Nintendo first-party characters, unlike Sans, which is a third-party character. If we had gone up until this point without a playable character from Animal Crossing, it would feel kind of wrong. And for Villager, like, yeah, he was the main character of the Animal Crossing game, so obviously he would obviously make it first before Isabelle, just like the Mii. There are playable characters, they are not fighters, but Villager is a playable character. He was the playable character, not the mascot, like Isabelle. And that's why Isabelle is in the game. Isabelle is the mascot, now the mascot and more popular characters amongst the roster for Animal Crossing, and Animal Crossing has a rotating cast, so it's much more like Fire Emblem and other games where you can just add characters as he pleases. But Villager was more of a, we need to have this. We need to have the character in because, you know, Animal Crossing is way too big. Think about this one for a second. No Zelda game, like Animal Crossing on home consoles, sold about as well as Zelda games do, like 3 to 4 million. Normal, typical Zelda games like Majora's Mask, Skyward Sword, Wind Waker, Twilight Princess and Ocarina of Time were kind of the outcasts, let's put it that way. A lot of the handheld games too. The first Zelda sold like 5 to 6 million, I think. Then Link to the Past and all that also sold about 3 to 5 million. And Animal Crossing in home console sells about that. But up until Breath of the Wild, the handheld Animal Crossings destroyed Zelda, because both New Leaf and Wild World, I think that's the name of the DS title, sold in the 12 million. So of course you need to represent this franchise in Smash. It's way too big not to get in. Then 17 minutes-ish, there's quite a few indie reps as spirits, including Shovel Knight. I think it's only Shovel Knight and some Shovel Knight spirits and Shantae. I could be wrong, I thought those were the only ones. I knew Shantae was, and I thought it was the only one. Okay, so yeah, then this is where he's, okay. 12 minutes, 22 seconds, Square Enix is being difficult to work with, is nothing but a rumor with nothing backing it. Cloud is one of the earliest characters added to Smash files, and even Sakurai outright said Square is easy to work with. The only reason we only got 2 songs from Final Fantasy and 4 spirits, Geno, Mallow, and 2 Cloud spirits that don't use Final Fantasy VII, because the ownership of the Final Fantasy VII music and artwork is legal hell, as many companies own a stake in those. For instance, Dog Ear Studios owns a large portion of the music. Again, I couldn't find much on Wikipedia, on the wiki pages for Final Fantasy, even fandom and regular Wikipedia. Again, we had 5 tracks being things, and again, we have for the artwork. I can understand the music, I don't understand the spirits and the artwork, because we have the 4 to 5 summons. I think it's 4, could be wrong, I'm misremembering. I don't play Midgard all that often, but we have like 4 to 5 summons. They already are in the game, they already have something in the game, and we didn't get them as fighter spirits, or spirits in general, which could have been something that happened. So, you know, it's a little bit iffy. And also, all I'm going to say regarding the nothing with backing, again, maybe I'm misremembering, but I'm pretty sure that Cloud was one of the final characters to be added to the DLC, or to the characters. And again, I don't recall hearing Sakurai saying that Square was easy to work with. I remember him saying, actually no, he just outright said that they weren't recently, when he was talking about the Hero, where they put limitations on him and it was easier to work with Microsoft. Then again, it could have been easier, but still easy. But I remember him talking about the limitations he had with the Hero. So, you know, again, it's a weird thing when you have like licensed songs already by Square Enix that don't make it into the game. Again, we had the opening theme, the Chocobo's theme, and the other one, which was, again, the Beware of the Mushroom Forest, I think that's the name of the thing, for Geno, and promotional stuff, but they're not in the games, and having already like 4 to 5 extra characters from Final Fantasy. They're not used. And you could say, but they're not the important characters. Sure, but it would have been something else, and you have characters that could easily portray those characters in Smash. So I don't see why Sakurai wouldn't including them. And something is better than nothing. And the final comment, yes, while Sans is a playable character, it's debatable whether or not he's the mascot. You see, it's Sans promoting Undertale on Switch. It's Sans, everyone knows, whether it be at games or a boss battle. He's iconic enough to become sort of a mascot, and correct me if I'm wrong, but Sakurai made a statement similar cases in Smash 4, where he said if a character is more popular than a playable character, he would add that character. That argument, the other argument, Sans is the one requested, he's the one requested. I know it's similar to the last argument, if not identical, but if it's Sans who people are legitimately pulling for over in Japan, most ballot places Sans really high up, usually in the top 10. I don't think we're getting Sans, and as if we're getting an indie rep, it will most likely be Shantae, but to say Sans isn't happening is jumping the gun a bit. Okay, so I'm gonna challenge you a little bit on the Sakurai thing about most important character. That holds true. If a character is more popular than the main protagonist or the main playable character, they will get in after the other guy makes it in. Alucard is more popular than Simon and Richter, but the Belmonts made it first because they're more important to the franchise overall, and it's a character that people, the Belmonts are more important and people also like the Belmonts. Same thing happens with Animal Crossing. Isabelle is far more popular than the Villager. That's why she's her own character and not an echo of Villager. So yeah. Also, again, it's saying that he's for sure not happening is jumping in a bit. I don't think so. Again, for the main reason, like if a franchise, and again, this has not if Sans will need to break basically a thing that has been in Smash since the beginning. Now, sure, there's a lot of rules that are broken in Smash, but again, characters that are more popular than the main protagonists and the main mascots of, sure, he's a mascot, but again, he's not the main character of the franchise. If he was, maybe he would be in. But I would say that Frisk, or I believe that name is Frisk, or the main character from Deltarune would be over Sans, because again, Sans is the boss character. He probably would have just ended up being a boss character. Like, look at Marks. He could have perfectly fine been a character, just like Sans could be, but he ended up being a boss character. Actually, if World of Light happens again in the future, Sakurai could easily create an area just for indies after we get some indie reps. You could easily just have like Sans being controlled, or the spirit of Sans being controlled by one of the main villains, and be like, yeah, here's Sans as a boss character, and that's how maybe even Frisks gets in. He's iconic. I'm not getting that from him, but again, the only time there's never been a case where a mascot or a character that is not a part. If a character is a part of an ensemble cast, sure, they could make it in before the main character makes it in. Pikachu made it in before any of the main characters of Pokemon, any of the starters, but he's also part of an ensemble cast, and technically speaking, none of the starters are the main characters. The Pokemon trainer is, and so you can be honest, 64 could not handle a Pokemon trainer in any way, shape, or form, in the way that Smash has it, and they didn't have the time to develop it. So even if the tech is there, they couldn't have made it in, even if they wanted to. And yeah, Shantae seems like the far more likely indie first rep, be it in main normal game or even in just plain old DLC. She's the more likely one, but I feel like character 4 is going to be like a little bit of a downer compared to all the others. You know, Joker was a big surprise for everybody. Banjo-Kazooie were a huge explosion for the West. The Hero was a huge explosion for Japan. I think like Shantae or whatever character 4 is going to have is not going to have that. So it's a little bit weird. And I hope I didn't come in this response a little bit like a douche. I didn't want that. And if I did, I apologize for that. And hey, Sans does have people pulling for it, but unfortunately, there's a lot of characters people pull for nowadays that we know are not happening. Heck, people are still wanting goddamn Goku, even after Sakura said like, nah, he's like SpongeBob or Shrek or Iron Man, as in, they're not happening, and people are like, oh, but I want Goku. I would love, there is a Goku that could make it in. I would love for him to be in the next game, just as a troll. It'll be hilarious to see. But anyway, thank you guys for watching this episode of Can They Be DLC that went far longer than I thought it would be. Next episode, I'm gonna be going back to the meme. No, actually, before we go back to the memes, and one episode that I don't believe I thought I was actually gonna be doing, but I'm gonna give a character that should have, technically speaking, has been in another video before, her own fair shake at being an episode. So next episode is gonna be about Shantae. So join me again next time for Shantae. I don't know why I've been saying Shantae that many times. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. Been much of the S. See you guys next time.